Hello, it is time for Ask Me Anything. So I've written down the questions on here and I'll just go through in random order. So first question, have you ever looked back and wished you'd written a scene differently? I try not to do that as a writer. I think that's kind of a horrible thing to do to yourself. After you've written and published a book and it's out there in the world and look back and you're like, oh, I should have done that. So I try not to. Of course, there's always little things when I look back, like that you kind of learn over time, that I'm like, oh, I would change like just tiny little things here and there, I guess. But that's one thing that adapting it into a comic is really good for, is that I actually get to write the story again. So I can try different things. And maybe some are improvements, maybe some are just different. So I think that's really fun to get to do it that way. One thing that has crossed my mind is that I think mermaid society is it's like a matriarchy. And something I didn't really go into is using the word queendom instead of kingdom. And so that's something when I think back, I'm like, maybe I should have done that in some places. I think that would have been a good opportunity. Is there any possibility you'll go back to the world of Ariana and explore other characters and their relationships? So I am actively trying to get this turned into a TV series. I've written the script. I've also written like a film adaptation, and I'm trying really hard to get this to happen. I think if it was a TV series, there'd be lots of opportunities to explore other characters, specifically in the first episode anyway. I do have scenes that go back to the island and see what Tanu is doing. And I think that him and the other boys, they wouldn't just sit back and let this massacre happen. They would be also trying to win against the mermaids. So there's a lot of opportunities there. I think there'd be also chances to look at the lives of the other warriors and what they have to lose. And there's not time to do that in a comic, of course. And I didn't really go into that in the trilogy either. So far, I don't have any new characters in mind, but that's not to say that there won't be. I think that would be a really cool thing to do, because obviously Mila isn't the only person ever to have a secret. Why can the mermaids do glamorous but the men cannot? Yes, the fishy appearance is the true appearance for mermen. In this story, I figure that the mermen didn't evolve to have the same allure as the females. So whereas the females, by default, like their relaxed state or their true state is kind of that human appearance, and then they can turn into that demon mode when they need to fight. Mermen, on the other hand, are just always in that like crocodile-like state because they don't need to use that allure to hunt. That's just my world. I just made it up for the trilogy, but I thought it was kind of cool. How does mermaid society look? They've got pack vibes going on. They do have pack vibes. They hunt like lions. So I get into this in Ice Kingdom, especially in the third book in the trilogy, but they do have big families. They operate like dolphins, kind of in pods. I think I kind of based a lot of how they behave and how they feel the water on dolphin behavior. I think dolphins have that like collective consciousness where they can kind of sense what other dolphins are like thinking and feeling. And so I explore that with mermaids too, because I think they would be able to pick up a lot on the water that way. I did look up cultural dimensions, which is a cool theory. And I compared this to Mila's society on Ariana because I wanted them to be opposite. So like Ariana is more like of a patriarchy, mermaids are more of a matriarchy. So mermaids have a lot of value on relationships with each other. I think that they're very like free and expressive and kind of overindulgent in a way. They obviously, under Adero's rule, this is different, but the other mermaid societies underwater, I think, operate very freely that way. They also, of course, hunt in packs like lions. I thought that was kind of one of the first things that came to mind when I imagined these like beautiful mermaids going in to attack a poor sailor. So yeah, those are the questions. And Danny, you're the winner of the free draw, so we'll be contacting you. And thanks so much everyone for submitting. Hope you're having a good summer.